Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Joel.
I'm Gavin.
I'm Matt.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Grandpa.
And we're some of the Veggie Boys. And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope everybody is having a really good day because I know we are. To get this video started off, we are down at one of our storage sheds. We store a lot of our vegetable equipment in here and our hay equipment because, well, we're not going to use it all winter. Now what brings us down here this morning is this big green wagon. Now we've used this wagon for many different things. We've used it for potatoes, we use it for grain, and basically anything else that we can fit in it. We got away with bean harvest only using one vehicle to haul back all of the grain. But with corn, we're gonna need a few more things to haul.
Oh yeah, Brian's a man. The truest of men.
We're the Veggie Boys. There's never a flat tire.
So this wagon had a flat tire on it. We don't know what caused the flat tire, but we just put a new tube in it and we're filling it up with air.
The air came out of the tire. That's why it's flat, Andrew.
Andrew, you gotta think about these things.
I'm gonna try and do better next time.
What if there is no next time?
I'm putting air in the tire.
So now all we have to do is work on getting the wagon out of here. And as you can see, we've got a lot of stuff in here. They brought down some tractors to be able to pull stuff out. So they have to pull that wagon out and then put everything back in. So they're gonna be working on that. So we've got a big job ahead of us today. We're gonna try and get our corn test plot harvested. Now, fortunately for us, because of bean harvest, we don't have to clean anything out of here. We've already hauled all of our beans to the mill, and after we finish with that, we completely clean the bin. So we're basically all set up for putting corn into the bin. However, for where we live, the moisture on the corn is a little higher than we would like it to be. So we are gonna have to dry quite a bit down. So now we're gonna work on setting up our heater. So all we're gonna have to do is hook up our heat source to our blower, and then we'll be able to dry down our corn. Now some of you may wonder, is it cost effective to dry down your corn? And that answer is actually a yes. Even though it does cost us a little bit of money to dry it down, if we were to take this to the mill wet, they would dock us. And the amount that they would dock us would cost us more than if we dried down a whole bin of corn. So that's why we're gonna fill up this bin of corn and then dry it completely. We've got our fuel system hooked up, we've got our blower working, the heater is working. Now all we need is some corn. The only thing we're waiting on to get started is the weigh wagon, which is what Matthew's picking up this morning. Now that wagon has a remote control auger on it, and it also has scales, which makes it a lot easier when we're testing these samples of corn.
What we're gonna do now is we need to get some paper, notebook paper, and we need to write down all the numbers so we can get the weights and the moisture and everything while we're harvesting.
Yeah, if we go through and write all this stuff down beforehand, we can move a lot quicker. So if we have all the varieties written down, we can get the weights, we can get the moistures, and move on to the next variety. Look at this smooth operator.
They're working on it. There's an excavator parked on the bridge, and then and he just turned sideways so that you can go by him. So I couldn't go that way home with the wagon. So I had to go down and around the long way.
Before it gets lunchtime, we're all heading down and getting everything set up. Dad's gonna take down the harvester, and I'm gonna bring the truck down. I just gotta wait for the air pressure to build up.
Sorry, I thought I saw a car behind you. Hello, you wanna see a boss? Put water bottle there. You got it, swing it in. You're good, you're clear.
We are just trying to figure out how we're gonna fit in this little section to get started. We don't want to run over any corn, and we want to make sure Dad has enough room with the harvester. Now over here we have Daniel. He is going down through to each variety, and he is writing the name so that later on when we harvest the corn, we can put the test weight, we can put the bushel per acre, and we can put the moisture with it. As we harvest our rows of test plot corn, we're gonna dump it into here. Each variety gets dumped in. It has a scale on it. The scale lets us know exactly how many pounds of corn we get off of this amount of rows. And then we can do some math to
figure out what an acre of this corn would yield.
And then while we're working on this process, we're also gonna be testing corn with our mobile tester. And I don't think you can get much more excited than Dad to do this job today. He actually just went out and got a brand new, to us, corn head for his harvester. We used to do 4-row, but now we've moved to 6-row. So we needed a new head. We really needed to do this for quite some time. We've been in 4-row for a really, really long time. However, we moved over to 6-row and it's gonna benefit us a lot in the long run. Now, as Dad drives out through the field, you can see he's only cutting 3 rows of corn. And the reason for that was because when they gave us our test plot seed, they gave us a little extra to try. And we didn't have enough room in our test plot field. So we're just gonna have our algorithm that we use to figure out the yield, and then we'll be okay with the 3 rows instead of the 6. We only had about 4 varieties that were 3 rows. So the next varieties we'll be going on to are all 6-row. That last variety we just did finished off all of our 3 rows. Now, right now it is lunchtime, so we're gonna head back to the farm and eat, and then we're gonna come back out and finish the rest of our varieties. Grammy's got a whole spread here. She used her deli slicer on the onions, the tomatoes, the ham. Ooh, sandwiches are one of my favorites for lunch.
How's the sandwich, Gavin?
We just finished off our lunch. It was really good. Now we're heading back out to the fields. I'm starting to think Dad's really excited because he kind of rushed us for our lunch. We only got 15 minutes.
That was plenty of time to eat. Where's Matthew? He didn't even get to the bathroom. What's gonna happen?
Now that we are all finished with the 3-row varieties, we are gonna pull out our signs along here so Dad can just continue going right down through with the chopper. Because we're still at this end of the field, it's hard for Dad to see the cars coming. So I'm just standing out here and letting him know it's safe to pull out onto the road and turn, because there's not a lot of room right here. We're going from longest to shortest season. So as we move farther into the field, the seasons are gonna get shorter on the corn, but in some areas you can only grow those shorter season of corn. And in our area, we can get away with a little bit longer season, but we have to be very careful. Now with the shorter season corn, that corn may be drier than the later season corn, which would add to a better yield for us. So those are the things you have to think about when you're picking how long you want your corn season to be. You can raise some shorter varieties or even some longer varieties. Well guys, everything seems to be going pretty well. We are moving right through our varieties with no problems. Dad has got one more pass of AM variety corn, and then he'll be moving on to the Q varieties. So I've got to start taking signs out again. Ooh, got water on me. Now, so far this afternoon, you haven't seen Gavin, Joel, or Daniel, and that's because they're back at home unloading that wagon that we were fixing this morning. Our grain truck is almost full on all of this test plot corn, and we still have a few varieties here. So we're gonna need that wagon pretty soon. Now, just a few minutes ago, Matthew filled this truck, and just now Joel showed up with the wagon. So Matthew's finishing offloading over there. However, we ran into a little bit of a problem. Turns out it's wet over here, so the truck won't move. Joel brought a chain with him though, so he's gonna pull me out. The tractor that Joel brought just doesn't have enough power to do it. Well, there's not really much I can do with the truck right now, so I'm just gonna have to wait till Joel gets back with the other tractor. Here we go. This tractor should hopefully be able to pull me out. Now this corn that we just harvested, it is a little on the wet side, so we are gonna have to dry it down, but that's okay. We prepared for this. We expected that to happen, so it's no big deal to us. We are closing in on having our first truck unloaded for the year, and then I'll be heading right back out. We just finished unloading, and look who came looking for us.
I need a truck. I need a truck.
Yeah, he was pretty full. Dad just got my truck full, so I better take it back and get unloaded. Now, right when I pulled in, Joel was leaving. So if we can keep it that way the whole time we're harvesting, that'll work out pretty good. Then we don't have to have Dad waiting at all. Because the longer Dad sits, then he starts to call you, "Where are you? Where are you?" So if we can avoid that, I'd be pretty happy. Dad had to move fields, so we were able to catch up with them.
I'm about 3/4 full. He's just gonna top me off and then I'm heading out.
I got here perfect timing then. That works out pretty good. How has everything been running back here? Pretty good. It looks like it's filling up pretty quick. Not much is changing. I'm just driving back and forth from the harvester to the bin. Daniel's unloading me and then I'm back on my way. Daniel occasionally gets a little free time between each load, and he actually had enough time to take care of the animals while we were out there loading. So Daniel got all of the animals taken care of. The chickens, calves, and cattle, they're all finished. And he's also doing something really important. He's keeping track of the moisture that we're putting into the bin. He's been writing everything down right here, and he samples each load. By keeping track of the moisture, we keep track of our cost, essentially, because then we know how much it'll take to dry all the corn down, and we know how much money we put into drying it. Dad's filling up my truck right now, but we just moved to a new field. Where we live in Northeast Pennsylvania, there's a lot of hills and mountains, so sometimes your fields are all over the place. I was watching a YouTuber this morning. They were working on a 440 acre field. I couldn't imagine something like that. There was like no trees, there was no mountains, it was just corn. It was beautiful. I mean, I'll never complain about where I live though. We're like in the peak of fall right now. It's beautiful out. Dad just got me full again. Everything has been running so smoothly. I'm very happy about this. What in the world? He cannot fit much more corn on there. You had that a little full on there. I can't see. He just filled me up now, so all we have to do is send Joel out one more time, and then we should be able to finish off this field. My truck is all empty. Now I have to get out of Joel's way so he can unload. With all these lights on, it looks pretty good over here. I tell you what, as that sun went down, that temperature really took a dip. It is getting cold out. And how are you today? Alrighty guys, as you can see, we already got started eating, and tonight we are having Mexican potato soup. It's really good. And since we are sitting down and eating, that means this is where we're gonna end the video. We wanna thank everyone for watching, and we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye.